Great. I'd like to call the meeting of the Social Services Committee to order. First order of business is approving the previous meeting minutes. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Ms. Smith. Second, Ms. Lockhart. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay, on to current business. Number 2, authorizing an agreement with the Salient Corporation regarding annual maintenance and user licensing costs associated with Salient data mining software. Is this Commissioner McClave?
Correct. Yes, good evening. We are looking for authorization to amend an agreement that we've had for quite a few years with the Salient Corporation to provide annual maintenance and user licenses for data mining software that is a sole source, they're a sole source provider of this data mining software, which culls Medicaid billing data and identifies high Medicaid billers for potential investigation for Medicaid fraud, waste, or abuse. It's part of a pilot project that we've had for quite a few years with the New York State Department of Health Office of Medicaid Inspector General. It's a 3-year contract which provides 5 user licenses for us. It's for $125,820. It's a 50% federal, 50% state reimbursed project or service.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Actually, I have a question. So is the goal to find abuse from the providers? Is that
Correct. This is not consumer fraud. This is looking at provider billing fraud, waste, or abuse. So high users, which we've looked at previously, have been transportation company providers, pharmacies, home health care providers, that kind of provider.
great? Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Mr. Bruschi, motion.
I'll second it.
Second, Mr. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. We're just going to take a quick break to do roll call. Majority Council, could you please initiate the roll call?
Or Mr. Chairman, Chairman Fine,
Here?
Mr. Commisso is here via Mike Morris. Mr. Bruschi,
Here.
Mr. Cleary,
Here.
Smith,
Here.
Lockhart,
Here.
McLaughlin,
Here.
Hurley,
Here.
and Simpson.
Here.
All present, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Okay, now we'll move on to item 3 on the agenda, authorizing agreements with the New York State Office of Children and Family Services for the Children's Advocacy Center and SIDS of Pennsylvania Cribs for Kids and amending the 2021 Department for Children, Youth and Families budget. Commissioner Manning?
Thank you, Chairman Fine. Yes, this is kind of a 3-pronged request. We request to accept the monies in for our annual Child Fatality Review Team from the Office of Children and Family Services. Secondly, we want to contract with the Cribs for Kids, which is called the SIDS Pennsylvania. And that way we can have cribs available to our children and families who may not have a safe sleeping environment. And then thirdly, we really want to amend our budget, our 2021 budget, in order to accept this money. And the Child Fatality Review Team is a cross-discipline team that is looking at any unfortunate fatality that occurs in the county and really look at what were the causing factors. And we have had such educational campaigns as Safe Sleep. We've also had bike helmet safety, water safety to ensure children are not drowning. And these monies all go for those efforts to educate the community and prevent a child fatality.
Thank you, Commissioner. And are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, Ms. McLaughlin, did you have a question?
Yeah, I was trying to look at something in the legislation, but the name, kids, and the SIDS for Pennsylvania,
Yes,
what is the significance of that? Is this company in Pennsylvania?
it is. That's where we get our cribs from, and that's where through the Office of Children and Family Services.
So this is like a long-standing contract with these people?
Yes, and that's where OCFS gets all the cribs throughout New York State for all of the counties. Because we pay for some cribs, but then the State Office of Children and Family Services also gives us cribs throughout the year. I want to say this past year, we got 50 cribs free of charge from state OCFS.
Okay.
And it's
So
the same vendor.
So this is the vendor that, are they the first contract with the vendor? And we are partners with OCFS?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, Mr. Bruschi. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay, next on the agenda, item 4, authorizing preschool education service agreements for children with special needs, ages 3 to 5. Commissioner?
Thank you, Chairman. Yes, New York State educational law requires the counties to assist in providing special education services for youth or children aged 3 to 5 that may have a physical disability, educational or developmental disability, and we provide that preschool program through these center-based programs. And attached, you'll see a list of the various special ed programs for these 3 to 5-year-olds.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous. Okay, number 5, authorizing an agreement with Spotted Zebra Learning Center regarding individualized education programs for children ages 3 through 5.
Thank you. Yes, Spotted Zebra provides related services, and these related services could be a SEA teacher, occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech. And those basically related services are paid in a half an hour to an hour increment. And so basically Spotted Zebra has reached the threshold of needing an RLA because of the $160,000 we paid them.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion, second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Pass unanimous. Okay, number 6, authorizing an agreement with Schenectady County regarding the provision of preschool evaluation services.
Thank you. Yes, I want to say it was at least 5 years ago, we went into a contract with Schenectady County to provide just preschool evaluations because they don't have an evaluation team. We thought it was an opportunity for the county to make some money by doing this and also filling a void in Schenectady County. I can really say that we still prioritize our Albany County children and are available to them as needed basis. And again, we don't bring in a great deal of money, and we estimate for this coming year about $5,000 in revenue we would generate.
Thank you. And are there any questions from the committee? Motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Ms. Lockhart, second.
Second.
Mr. Bruschi, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. So now we have an addendum which relates to the a program I think we're all anticipating, the rent and landlord relief program. And I believe that's Commissioner McClave. Thank you.
She's muted. Commissioner, you're muted. hold on. There you go.
There you go. Okay, thank you, thank you. Thank you for taking this addendum at the last minute. This is more progress on implementing this program. So when we received our $9 million award in January from the Treasury for this emergency assistance program, the New York State also received an award along with other municipalities around the state. New York State received quite a bit of money, about $888 million. They then offered and have created a program that would be a statewide consistent program across the state. And they're offering us to do create a portal, an application portal to review the applications, to determine eligibility, to handle any appeals. They're going to have a hotline. They'll have materials developed in multiple languages. A lot of extra work that we would never have been able to accomplish. So plus, by participating in the program that's going to be run through OTDA, we'll be able to access the New York State money. So in addition to the money that we received, we're guaranteed to get the money that we received, plus we'll be able to access that portion of that $888 million that New York State received in addition. So now we're asking to transfer that $9 million allocation that we received and accepted from Treasury and pass it on to New York State, which will be managed then by the New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance. And we are guaranteed to receive that $9 million minimum amount. So that money is protected for Albany County. Albany County will continue to, will receive a 10% administrative fee to do outreach and engagement. So with Albany County, DSS and our partners will conduct outreach targeting the highest need people. So we'll be out there engaging people, helping them fill out applications for those that can't use the portal properly, having trouble uploading documents, that kind of thing. We're going to be really trying to engage people that really need help in applying for the benefit.
Great, thank you. And I see that Ms. McLaughlin has a question.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And I guess some of my question was addressed in those last comments because, and I raised the issue of sometimes the issue of navigating these state systems can get a little difficult for people. And I don't want the landlords and or the prospective tenants who are applying to feel hampered by having to go through a state system. So I just want to make sure that we have a sort of like a backup system in place that will ensure that if people that we refer to this have a problem, that they have a place to go to get assistance to maneuver this process. Because I don't think it's going to be that easy. I'd like to think that, but, and I'm glad to hear that not only will we have the $9 million, but we will have access to additional funds, hopefully, to help landlords. Do you know what the timeline is? Do we have a timeline set up for this at this point in time?
Well, we are, all of the counties around the state, I've been talking to them on a regular basis, on a weekly basis, actually, who have received direct allocations as well. And we have been requesting a lot of information, and we hope now after we do the transfer that we're going to get weekly meetings with OTDA. They originally have said May is when the portal is going to open. So we hope that that is true, and we're knocking on the door, trying to make sure that they do this as soon as possible. But we know that these things can take time.
So all counties are transferring their money over to the state?
There were certain municipalities and counties, only those over 200,000 population received a direct allocation. So not every county did, like Schenectady did not receive a direct allocation. And then there were some municipalities that did, like Yonkers received an allocation. So there are 6 municipalities that are not going with the state.
Okay, so did we have to go with the state, or do we believe that this is something that is most cost effective and efficient for us to do?
It's voluntary, but there's a lot of benefits to going with the state, and they're going to take on a huge administrative burden. They're going to take on the reporting to the US Treasury. They're taking on responsibility for the program and establishing a portal that we would not have been able to do.
But we're still responsible for our own outreach.
Well, we want to do the outreach. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we're going to do the outreach and work with the clients and actually help them fill out the applications. The portal, they've said that the portal, you'll have a case number. You'll be able to track where your case is at. So if you're missing documents, we'll be able to help people go into the portal, look at their case and see if something's missing or if it's just pending, or what the status of it is. So we'll be focusing on that work.
When you have your weekly meetings, I would suggest, I would like if you would ask, what do they anticipate to be the turnaround time for when someone has completed an application? What the processing will be?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
That's an important question.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McLaughlin. Mr. Simpson.
Yeah, will there be like a backup kiosk and phones for people to access the system?
I'm not sure what you mean.
Well, I assume the porthole is an online access point.
It will be, yes, it'll be a URL, a website.
So will there be kiosks actually at the Department of Social Services for people who don't have computers?
No, but we will have laptops and we will walk people through it on our system. And so will United Tenants and so will Legal Aid. We're going to be using laptops for that.
So we're going to physically go to people, or how do people access the laptops?
Yeah, they'll have to come into DSS or DSS, depending. If somebody is really disabled or homebound, then we can make an accommodation depending on what each situation is going to be different. So if you can do it on your own, we're going to encourage people to do it on their own. That'll be first. So what United Tenants, Legal Aid, and DSS are going to be helping those people who aren't familiar with how to do online applications. We have computers here at the building, and we'll be walking people through the application with them. And we'll have some laptops to help people out in the community if they need that help.
Will there be like a dedicated phone line for people to call in to make appointments to come in?
We'll have to think about that. I don't know. We do have a phone line specifically for this, but I don't know about making appointments. It depends on the volume. Yeah, there may be need for that.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions from the committee? Okay, well, I want to thank Ms. McLaughlin and Mr. Simpson. I think those were good questions. I shared some of those concerns as well about whether or not it would transferring to the state would make it more difficult for our residents to access. But it sounds like there is a significant piece that we still have in doing outreach. So hopefully that isn't a burden for people. Hopefully the state system is run smoothly. Okay, is there a motion to approve? Ms. McLaughlin, it's a second. Mr. Bruschi, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Passed unanimous. Okay, that's everything on the agenda. I'd actually like to ask an additional question that's not on the agenda, Commissioner McClave. I know in the state budget, I believe there was $2.4 billion for childcare subsidies. And in the budget, actually, in the county budget last year, social services identified, in quotes, a lack of affordable, stable childcare is the single largest barrier to self-sufficiency that families must overcome. So very exciting news to see the state commit such a large amount of funding. I believe it may be coming actually from the federal government, from the American Rescue Plan, but not sure. But could you describe, to your knowledge, where that money will go and how much we'll be getting?
Well, I don't know that there's a specific allocation. It is, we have in our budget what we're proposing for the year, and I can't remember off the top of my head what that was. We do have a maintenance of effort, a minimum that the county must contribute. And what that sentence was really referring to is for people who are going back to work. And the people that are receiving our supplement for childcare, we've always had enough in the last few years anyway to pay for the requests for childcare for people that are eligible. So we haven't had to turn anybody away for childcare. But what that means is once you go off welfare, once you go off temporary assistance, and we pay for childcare for, I think it's up to a year after you go off of public assistance. But once that drops off, once that cliff happens, that becomes troubling. That's difficult for people. So that's really what that was about. It's not about people that are eligible currently for our temporary assistance benefits. And you can get childcare assistance up to 275% of the poverty level. So you can be a working person. But once you hit, 300% of poverty level, then you get into trouble. So it's those people that are kind of low income working people that, and this is not necessarily going to address that.
Is it possible that we'll be able to expand our eligibility to address that gap? And do you know, is this funding coming through counties? Is it coming through DSS, or is this something that the state's going to directly administer?
Yeah, it's the program we've had, and that's the same program. What they're talking about is the same program that we've always run, that goes up to 275% of poverty level. So we have enough allocation for the requests that we have received to for those people that are eligible in that category. So this does not necessarily address those over 275% of poverty level, unfortunately. That's still a need.
Okay, well, that's good to know. I wish it did, because it sounds like that's really the greatest need we have. Can you continue to update us though as we find out more? It sounds like we're still waiting some more information as this funding comes in. And I'm also guessing, I know you said that the need is filled with the requests, but it's also possible that there's a lot of people that aren't requesting funding, that aren't requesting the subsidies, that are in need. And, perhaps with more funding, we can do more outreach, and when more people who are in need, who are eligible, will be able to access the services.
Yeah, it's actually been a little bit of a frustration for us that we believe there's more people on the under 275% that aren't accessing it. So we've been trying to do some outreach to get people to be aware of this, that you can still receive it.
Okay, thank you. And I see Miss Willingham has her hand up.
Thank you. I don't know why I can't turn my video on, but can you tell me what is 275% of the poverty level?
It depends on the size of your family, but I can give, I can get a chart together.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that.
In those, just to confirm, that 270% is that set by the state?
Yes.
Okay. And are there any other questions from the committee? Okay, well, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Cleary, second, Mr. Bruschi, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned.